The EU begged the European countries to cancel UK's travel ban, the French and the Brits clash at the border, and the disgraced Professor Neil Ferguson is back in government. Hello everyone and welcome to today's first video, which is about what's happening at the border between France and the UK. It's a bit of a clash, and the European countries have imposed a travel ban in the UK. The European Commission and the EU are panicking because they have 9 days left till the end of the Brexit transition period. And if the border checks continue, if the financial crisis continues, then Brexiteers could just say, well, seems to be everything's ready for WTO Brexit, so let's just go no deal. So the EU are now trying to beg the European governments to drop this travel ban on the UK. Some of them are listening now, but it's a whole chaotic situation in the last few hours. The European Commission don't have the power to enforce this, so they are going to have to beg, especially Macron's government. This has been published on the European Commission's website, the message that they sent to the European countries. There's this bit which is quite interesting because it says, while it is important to take temporary action against the spread of the new variant, and all non-essential travel should obviously end, essential travel and transit of passengers should be facilitated. Flight and train bans should be discontinued given the need to ensure essential travel and avoid supply chain disruptions. And we know exactly why they're doing this. The whole fundamental of the European Union is to not have borders. Also, technically, in the name of trade, they want to protect the supply chain. And again, don't mistake that with the EU being pro-free trade. They're not. They're protectionists, but they want to protect their continent and the EU club. So this is happening. And the issue that we have is that while the travel ban was imposed over a nonsensical issue, this new variant, as I said yesterday in the video, it didn't come from the UK. The UK just happened to discover it, identify it first. It was already in Italy, in Spain, in Australia, and in a number of other countries. So the Commission have realized, well, this is already in Europe, so why are we punishing the UK? They realize that they need the UK in the next 9 days as friends. They need them to be friendly with the UK. And this clash that's now happening at the border, which is very silly. So the French and the Brits, all the lorry drivers, the last day or so, they've been clashing over testing, the method of testing, to ensure that those who enter and leave the two sides are tested before actually do that. The issue that's been created is the way the British government do testing and the French government do testing, which is absolutely fascinating. So Macron is calling for the drivers to be given PCR tests. These are the tests that are more comprehensive. They take about a day or two for the result to come back. And the British government are pushing for lateral flow tests. These are, they use saliva and can produce the result within 20 minutes. Now, don't start on how effective these tests are, because we know when it comes to their false positives and how they're actually conducting them. So you would expect, now that all these Western governments have decided to centralize the whole world and get behind the World Health Organization and everything like that, you would think they will have a unifying approach to testing at least. No, they don't. And it's all chaotic at this point. And one person has come out to help, Priti Patel and the Home Office. She's now saying that we are working to get a resolution by tomorrow morning. I mean, the whole situation with the queue, it will end. But it hasn't happened yet. And we know why. Because the Home Office has been sent to negotiate with the French authorities. These are the same people that were supposed to negotiate or renegotiate our arrangements when it came to protecting our borders from the illegal migrant boats. Nothing happened. We gave the French more money and they didn't stop the boats. And then Priti Patel said, we're going to have to change international law. That still hasn't actually happened. It's in the process. Don't expect cooperation. No one knows exactly who's in charge. No one knows which sort of testing they have to just concede to. So expect chaos. And the European Commission, in the middle of this, as I said, with 9 days to go, they're completely panicking. The financial crisis continues in the rest of Europe and the Eurozone. They need a deal with the UK, and Macron is being a child at this point. Now, while this is happening, no one's actually talking about the Republic of Ireland. Everyone's talking about how the UK is being punished and how the UK supply chain has been damaged. All the supermarkets and all the avocados and lettuces. But in reality, the Republic of Ireland used the UK mainland to actually enter Europe. And what we discovered is that there are about 150,000 truck crossings between the island and the rest of the European Union side. So this has also been damaged. So it's not just the UK that's been affected. The Irish government are also worried about this. So they're now been calling with the European Commission for France and other countries to just calm down, considering the new variant is already in the continent. Now, putting that aside, the BBC, the very professional and impartial BBC with their BBC Charter, Ross Atkins, the presenter, came out last night to report the news. That's the job of the BBC, report the news. No, he didn't. Watch this.
Out of control. Because of this, over 40 countries have banned all incoming flights from the UK. In addition, France has shut its border, hundreds of lorries are stuck, and there are warnings some fresh food supplies may be impacted within days. Meanwhile, cases continue to surge and families are rearranging Christmas after the government suddenly changed the rules. And then there's Brexit. There's still no trade deal. If that's the case at the end of the year, we'll have a no-deal Brexit. Boris Johnson predicts the UK will prosper mightily in that situation. The UK's spending watchdog predicts it will deliver a huge economic blow. Better news came on the vaccine. 500,000 people in the UK have now received their first vaccine jabs. But the benefits of that scientific marvel will come next year. For now, this is a Christmas week wrapped in worry and uncertainty.
Have you seen anything like this? I've seen the BBC being biased. I've never actually seen them, report the news, but in reality, he's giving his own opinion. He's spreading scaremongering everybody, and the whole panic that's been happening right now in the last couple of days in the supermarkets, people panic buying, is because of people like Ross Atkins and his colleagues. The mainstream media are going out there, creating chaotic situations, blaming it on British people. Somehow they're getting away with it. This is the problem we have with the BBC, and some of I think it was Metro and the Mirror, or one of them, actually praised the BBC and praised this piece for telling the truth. Really? It's not really about telling the truth or like a lie. The BBC, that this guy's job, literally when he's sitting there, he's supposed to be just reporting the news. That's not how the Charter works. Now, if he wants to criticize something, he should criticize the immunity passports, but apparently they say freedom passports. The UK government promised us that we are not going to have freedom passports. We're not going to have citizens being controlled by the big state, big brother, walk around the streets with a piece of paper in their pocket in case they get approached by the police or in case they want to go into a restaurant to have dinner. This is what Michael Gove said a couple of months ago.
Of course, individual businesses have the capacity to make decisions about who they'll admit and why, but the most important thing that we should be doing at this stage is concentrating on making sure that the vaccine is rolled out, and my colleague Nadim Zahawi is a brilliant minister. That's the reason that he's been put in charge of the programme of making sure that as many people are vaccinated as possible. It's up to any individual pub owner or licensee to decide who they'll admit and on what basis. They're private businesses. But
okay, you think that's fair? The government are not doing that. No, they are. They are funding two companies, Net Company UK and also the Hub Company Limited. So these two companies are now responsible for creating a system for these freedom passports. And we actually have the documents that's already been published. On the 2nd of November, this was contracted to one of them. So this is actually the first company, the Net Company, that's actually been rewarded £42,000 by the British government, the Department of Health and Social Care. Matt Hancock is responsible for that department. And so this is the first document. We also have the second one, which is for the Hub Company Limited. They've also been awarded a contract for £34,000 that the government, again, the Department of Health and Social Care, are paying for. What happened to telling the truth? We actually have now ministers confirming that they have signed off the work to introduce the freedom passports. So people who test negative can go to pubs, schools, and workplaces. So I understand a lot of people would think it's a good idea. We're like, oh, okay, well, this is how we get back to normality. there's an issue with obviously civil liberties. I know it's a very trivial issue for a lot of people, but it's not even that. This is the same big government. Well, most of the Western governments have been making this mistake. All these projects have failed. Whether it's with the test and trace project, whether it's with everything else that they've been introducing, all these measures, do you really expect these freedom passports to work? Not going to work. And while we have Tier 4 that's been introduced, Michelle Donnellan, who's a minister for universities, has sent a letter to students introducing a measure to help them get back home. If they are in Tier 4 for Christmas, they could find a way to go home. Great news for students. Fine. Absolutely perfect. Students in Tier 4 could find a way to join an existing household. What about everybody else? What about a young kid, 18, 19, 20-year-old, who's not a student, but is an apprentice or self-employed, who's doing similar things, different sort of course that is not really university course? They're not exempt. They're not allowed to. So it's only the students that are doing. So again, I'm happy for the students, but what about all the others who do apprenticeships and other courses that are not university degrees? So they're not allowed to leave Tier 4 to go home for Christmas, but the students can. Shambolic situation. Speaking of shambolic, guess who's back? Back again. Neil Ferguson's back to ruin the country. You guys remember the disgraced Professor Neil Ferguson, who broke his own rules, lockdown rules, to see his partner, one of the partners, and he was the one who always came up with the wrong modeling, the wrong predictions, how many people would lose their lives, and he's now back because he was supposed to be. He resigned. He was fired because he broke the rules from SAGE and also the subcommittee of SAGE. We just discovered this. So. NETVAG, which is a subcommittee of SAGE, the independent committee to advise the government on scientific and medical issues. This is the minutes that we have from the 18th of December. So only a few days ago. Neil Ferguson is on the list. He attended the meeting and is now come out to advise the government. He's going to come on TV to express his views and give more predictions. Nobody is holding them to account. The mainstream media are just saying, oh, it's Neil Ferguson. What do you think, Neil? While we have some good news about how the Brexit talks are still going, we still haven't had a sellout just yet. There might be a compromise on fisheries. I'm going to explain everything in the next video. But everything else, not too well. But let's focus on the positives. Let's believe in Britain, as you can see. If you want to get one of these t-shirts or different form hoodies or jumper, check out the link in the description. We have the I Believe in Britain merchandise, and for the members of the channel, you guys get a special discount. Actually, before I finish the video, members of the channel, throughout the Christmas period, I might be introducing a new idea, something that we did a few months ago, a Zoom video call for the members. I know it could be a tough time. A lot of people would just be at home. You're not going to have anyone visiting you. So I thought we could get together. I'm going to do a number of Zoom video calls with the members of the channel. Just have a chat and try and cheer you up with whatever's happening in the news. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.